but I say to you. Yes, sisters and brothers, you are following Jesus in this first big talk up on the mountains. And as Moses received from the word of God directly up on the mountain, his word, his commandment, then we have the new Moses here that tell us the new commandments. And clearly to say today, after telling about the Beatitude, and then arrive today to make always something to say about the past. You've heard this, but I say to you. And this new law that get the first law to fulfillment, as Jesus said in the introduction of this speech, not to abolish, but to fulfill. Fulfill, it means that reminds everybody what is the spirit of love. We take one very simple law. If you drive the car, you know that going the street, every street has a limit. And this limit is because it's dangerous. It is surpass it for yourself and for the other. And so you remind you with the law this limit. However, if in your heart is that I do not have to put my life and the life of the other in danger, then there's no need of that limit. This is the spirit of the law that Jesus reminds us. A law that at the first time when Moses received it was written on stones so that it remained there forever. It's not something written on the sand, know what will happen, but on stone, because remind us. But then has something that it refers to that song. Prophecy, your heart are like stones, so hard that any word of God cannot enter and change it. So it is useless if the law of God, it is written even on stone, but our heart cannot receive it, cannot go to the spirit of the law and put in action. And this fulfillment, and then Jesus insists a lot on saying, not even a little sign of a part of a letter will pass away of the law of Moses. Actually, what he's saying in his speeches surpasses, sometimes it cancels what is just about a good use of living, for example. One of the law that it was cancelled with Jesus is what you can eat or what you cannot eat. The list is very long in the Old Testament, but then we know Jesus said it's not a problem what you eat. The problem is what is in your heart, that it bear out fruit of evil. It's not the evil in the food that you eat. However, apart from canceling this, it reminds us what is the spirit of the law, and goes through some of them, because should be a lot of the law in the Old Testament, 600 and something, and starting about this killing. We know that killing also is something that is guarded by law, the common law that we have. We cannot kill. And actually, we understand very well, killing others is the great act of not love for him. But if we think, if we love others, then there's not even say to our brother, you fool, or you are angry with your brother, or I sacrifice your life. know nothing about this, because if I love my brothers and sisters, then there's not even far away from killing him. Even a bad word towards him or her is something that will pierce with our words, with our tongue, his heart. So that the spirit of not killing is, do I love my brothers and sisters? And loving him or her, it means like Jesus, be ready to offer my life, not to kill my brother because I want to stand out. This is the opposite of what the law says. Something like the law tells you the minimum, but the spirit of the law is much higher. And then we go to another one about the adultery. And they say, if you love your wife or your husband, then there's no need other words. Because your relation is with all your heart for him or her. There's no need about adultery. But the law writes this because of our weakness. But actually, if in a relation of love in which you give your whole life for him or her, then there's no need of thinking of anything else in your life. So you see how the law of God, of Jesus, is surpasses that one of the Old Testament. Not even saying about divorce. And say when already the relation, it comes to a point that the two persons cannot stay together. But before getting that, thinking of all the path that it was before to get the two people that was choose themselves for life, and then it was broken away. What happened before? That was the problem of both of them to arrive to that point. And it was written, yes, in the law of Moses that in sometimes divorce is permitted. But Jesus reminds us that in any time is adultery. Is something that breaks your promise of love that it was the beginning, because the promise of love was breaking already before to get to the point of the divorce. And then the last one that Jesus said about the false oath. And he said that there's no need of say this. If what you say is always truth, there's no need to add nothing. I wrote a comment this day, one man that Italian, because Italian we are particular in this, and going up to the North Europe and seeing a city that entering the underground, there was a passage that is written for those who doesn't not have money. And then the Italians say, well, it's so strange, because everybody will pass through it. And so went to the person in charge there and say, what is this? If I say that I do not have money, I can pass through. And the person said, no, it is not. Because everybody, it follows what it is true. And then there's nothing to hide what you have or what you don't have, because you should usually have money to pay for the tube, for the underground. And so it's not something what I can do to gain myself, and also in my words that I say to defend myself. No, there's no need. Your words are yes, and that yes is true is yes, or no because it's no. And then anything more is come from evil. Anything must come from evil because it's something to justify yourself to what you say. It shouldn't be. What you say should be already according to the truth. We see that our life, we live in one side or the other is a matter of death or life. See in the first reading today, the book of Sirach, they say, before men are life and death, good and evil. Whichever he chooses shall be given to him. In our life we have many choices. And many times it's very clear that that choice is a choice of death. Will lead us to death. Probably not immediately, for sure, but death of our heart that is poorer in love for the other. We choose it, and then we bear also the consequence of that. But if we choose life, if we choose love in our life, then life will enter more and more. We ask our God the true wisdom that is written in the second reading. The wisdom that is the same thought of Jesus, the same thought of God, that helps us to distinguish in our life what is the path of death, the path of evil, the path that closes in our heart only, and reject it and follow the path of light, the path of life, the path of love.